Hey y'all, it's Steve-O. Welcome back to the channel. Now that the holidays are over and all of the apple pie moonshine is gone, I wanted to teach you guys how I make my rum. I use a nice rum for apple pie moonshine as the base for it. And I had a lot of people asking, how do you make this stuff? Because it was really good. So I wanted to do a little video, teach you guys just the basics on how to do rum. For some of you, you're going to say, I know all about that, but others might not. So let's get to it. I'm going to just do a basic rum. Not going to do a spiced rum. I've done those often, but and I'll go over the spices that I use for a spiced rum, but today I just wanted to do a normal rum. The first thing is you want 2 gallons of sugar for every gallon of water. I'm sorry, I'll say it again. 2 pounds of sugar for every gallon of water. This is 2 pounds of sugar. I do cane sugar. I've done cocoa, what's it called? Cocoa palm sugar in the past. It's pretty good stuff. But today we're doing cane sugar and molasses. This is a 3-gallon still. 3-gallon pot, so we are only going to use this little batch. We're not doing a huge batch. Okay, so I'm actually doing 2 gallons of water instead of 3. And I'm going to go in with a pound of brown sugar, 2 pounds of cane sugar, and a pound of molasses. If you want to see bigger recipes, go to my buddy Red's channel. He's got a channel called The Shine Shack, and he does bigger recipes. He's got a pretty cool setup. But we are small potatoes here on this channel, just making enough to enjoy. And I'm just getting this water hot enough so that the sugar will dissolve. You don't have to get it boiling hot. If you're making beer and you had to worry about bacteria or wild yeast, then yeah, you'd have to, but we're just keeping it nice and warm. Don't be afraid to get every little last bit of that sugar out. You can use some water, swish it around, get all that stuff out of there. That last one was only 12 ounces, so we're going to add about a half of this. That should be plenty. Don't forget to taste test the molasses to make sure that they're good. Alright, go in and get all that stuff dissolved. All the sugar on the bottom's got to get nice and dissolved. If you do heat your oven or heat your stovetop, just do it real slow heat. You don't want to scorch that stuff on the bottom. You're just trying to dissolve it. The next step is getting your hydrometer out. You don't have to do this. If you just follow the 2 pounds per gallon, you're going to be fine. You're going to make all the alcohol you need. But if you want to get a little bit more specific, you know, people ask, hey, what's your ABV? Well, you can tell them if you do these calculations. So this is sitting at 1.087 after adjusting for the temperature, which is a little warm. It's right around 104. So that's how you do that. All right, and the last step, once this gets to be under 100 or so, you want to add in your yeast. And in the past, and actually up until right now, I've always used a yeast called turbo yeast, and it's called Rum Turbo. And I thought it was just what you use for rum. I didn't really know. So I joined this group on Facebook, these guys talking about turbo yeast, and I said, well, I use that. And pretty much unanimously, they all said it had this like weird aftertaste, and it made your rums taste like Band-Aids. I was like, well, there is kind of a weird taste sometimes, yeah, or like a weird aroma. And so they encouraged me to try a different yeast. And so I'm going to try this. This is just like a white wine yeast. I don't really know. I always thought like Saccharomyces cerevisiae is going to make alcohol, right? But it might just be the combination of the nutrients and how fast, and maybe it ferments things other than sugar. or maybe ferments different sugars, which gives some weird off flavors. I don't know, but regardless, we're going to try this and see how it tastes. That's why I'm not adding the spices, which let me show you the spices that I usually use to make a spiced rum. So the first is cinnamon. So there's two different kinds of cinnamon. There's canela, which is also called Ceylon cinnamon. It's a really soft taste. Most cinnamon that you're used to, especially if you're in the States, United States of America, is called cassia cinnamon. That's your traditional cinnamon. But I like the canela just because it has a slightly different taste. This stuff I got in the Dominican Republic. Next is cloves, nutmeg, allspice, and this. I might put a little bit of this in my finished product, just a touch. So we'll see. I'm also going to add toasted oak chips to my finished product. We'll do that in a future video. But so this is the spices that I use, and I will use these in the pot, and those flavors will become distilled and go into the final solution. So I'll do that some other time, but I just wanted to show you what spices I use. All right, yeast in. And I ferment in my still, so this has an airlock. If you want to see a review of these stills, they're called Vevor Still. Go on over to that guy I told you about. He's got a really cool review of the Vevor Still. Mine doesn't have a hopper. It's a pretty low-end one. I'm probably going to get a new one eventually, but for now this works for what I use it for. But Red over at the Shine Shack, well, he's got a cool review video of a Vevor Still. And his is like I think 5 or 7 gallons, something bigger. I'll leave a link in the description. You can go on over there, or just type in the Shine Shack. So we're just clamping that down. And we're going to let it bubble. So we're going to leave that for probably 2 weeks. And then I'll make another video on running it out. So that's all for today. If you like videos about doing stuff around the house, random stuff around the house, but it's just if you're the type of person to do stuff around the house, you know, I get myself into a lot of things, and sometimes I pull out the recorder, so feel free to subscribe. As everyone else says, hit that like button. It really does help, you know, help YouTube understand what you like. So if you do like it, please let YouTube know, and we'll catch you in the next one. Get back to work.